Today we finally get the Midget out of the garage and on the road.
Hello, welcome to Jerry Motorsport. I'm Jerry. Let's get started.
Well, plan today was to take the car out and get some fuel and just make sure that a good run sorts out the oil levels, coolant levels and so on and so forth. But it's absolutely chucking it down with rain today, so instead of taking the car to a nearby town, going to take the daily driver, see if the weather improves and go for that run later. It was far too good to be true that the car was going to start straight away. It has been sat for a little while we've been doing the fluid changes. It's usually pretty good if you've run it within a month or so, but anyway, so car's on charge at the moment, so another reason why we won't be going anywhere. Yeah, I could jump start it and get it going again, but if we have any problems while we're out and about, I'd really like a full battery, so going to leave that on charge, try again later. Driving around in the Midget, we noticed that if you change the engine speed rapidly, you would start to get the fan belt to slip. So we've got the Midget out on the road and we have a problem with the fan belt again. So this fan belt's coming off. It was an older fan belt that I replaced it with, so whether it was a little bit tough from being old, it's been sat on the shelf for a while, so I'm going to put the new one in, get that tensioned up and we'll take it out for a test again. So for today, fan belt change. Let's get on. Fan belt is very, very loose now. What I'll do when I get the fan belt off is I'll just check that the water pump is totally free, because if that is seizing up, that'll be putting extra strain on the fan belt. But it's okay at lower revs, it's just as soon as you rev up, you get that slipping. Everything else seems to be okay. So we'll also just top up the oil. We've let it stand overnight so that we've got all the oil in the sump, get the right amount of oil back in there. One element of the oils that I forgot to do is the oils in the dashpots. So I just need to check that these have got oil to the right level. There's obviously oil in them, I can hear it squelching away. Right, just need to make sure that this cowpole syringe doesn't go back into service. Just should be a lot easier to do it like this. And you can take it out if you put too much in. Perfect. There we go. And that's not overflowing, so that's good. I feel like they want to go in at first and they suddenly go. There we go. We'll see how that drives later. Fan belt is tensioned through the alternator fixings. So there's an arm down the bottom here, there's a nut on, which is always difficult to get to. These two nuts need undoing to allow movement, so we're going to get on and do that. I think do that this way around. Right, so there's two undone. Just going to do this bottom one down here. Okay. Right, that should be the alternator free to move now. No, stiff as anything. Off. build one. Can't actually move that alternator very easily, so I'm going to completely take off the mounting bolts and I'll be able to clean up the parts at the same time. Whoa. Okay, can't get to that one. I think that's the one that's causing problems. It's the pivot point on the tensioning arm. Let's take these ones off. Lock bolt off the block. I've just got to lift it and pull it out. Let's see what lays it out. I think I might have found what the problem is. Bit of this red penetrant. Ooh. Right. Here's the assembly that I've just taken out of the engine mount. So the engine mount goes here. This is the alternator tightening bracket, which goes on there. And then the nut, as you can see there, hasn't got enough thread on it. And this end here is sheared off. It's been like that for a while, it's been corroded for a while, so just never noticed it before. That does explain why this nut keeps coming undone, allowing this to slide, thus the fan belt starts to slip. The sliding part of the alternator adjuster, just going to tidy up the paint on that. It's all flaking off, a bit rusty, so give it a coarse wire brush and then a coat of paint so that it looks nice when it goes back on. And that's what we're doing. Right. Instead of this piece that's broken, that's sheared off that end, just going to temporarily fix this with a bolt that goes in the hole. I've got 5 penny washers which go on there, mainly to cover the shank, and then a flange nut, flange on the outside. So with a 6mm Allen key, tripped over the alternator. Then a larger penny washer, or rather the sliding section of the alternator will go on there, a normal washer. Then on the outside, a nylock, which has plenty of space in that gap for the sliding part. So I think we can get the car running again using that. Right, I've tidied up the arm, that's just ready to go on. Okay, so that's fully collapsed down, so the fan belt should go on nice and easily now. So we'll just do that after we've tightened up those bolts. Right, so that should be still free to move, which it is. New fan belt. And what I'm finding is this 813mm long belt, which is what was on there before. I can't get it on at all, so I've get it on the crank pulley, get it over the water pump, and then the furthest I can get it is like that on the alternator. I can take that off, and I can slide this up. Grab something that doesn't rotate. Yeah, so that moves up and down, but it's, you might be able to hear it's just hitting the bottom. So that won't go any lower, so I can't get that any shorter. So this belt is essentially too short, and the other belt I've got is a 900 or an 888. They're too long, so I'm going to give up on this temporary thing. I've ordered a new one of these standoff pedestal, so that will solve the problem of the fixing. And I've also ordered the intermediate fan belt size, which I think was 838, and that should hopefully be the right length to get it on at least here at the lower level, and then tighten it up accordingly. But I think I must have taken off the alternator mountings in order to get that 813 fan belt on, and I must have done that because that must have been the only one I had available after the last one shredded. But I'm sure that the shredded one was the same length as well, so I must have been putting the wrong fan belt on for all these years. But I don't ever remember having to take it off, you know, not being able to get it on at the alternator's lower setting, which is where it's at now. Anyway, so I've got, or will have soon, all the belt sizes available for a Midget, and hopefully it'll work. Right, so because I cannot get the parts I need, waiting for the new one of these. Once that arrives, I will fit that. I don't want to use my cobbled together method, so I'm going to leave that off, wait until I get the correct part back again, and then refit with hopefully the new sized fan belt, which would go on a dream. Hooray! It would be marvellous if it did. Anyway, shakedown was successful. I've obviously shaken out a problem that this was broken, but now I've got a few more things to do. I topped up the oil and everything else like that, so that element of the drive around was good. Great to be out of the Midget on the road, but just ended up with more things to do. Right, well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found that interesting, and if you've got a slipping fan belt, maybe you've got the same problem as I have, that you've got a sheared stud. So I will be fitting that in next episode, hopefully, should it arrive. I've also got coming new horn, because I established that the high tone horn has stopped working. I did try and take that apart, because they are fixable if you clean the contacts inside, things like that. But the type of horn I have is the plastic type, and it's a folded round seam. It's not bolted together, so I have to unfold the seam to get it out. I eventually got the horn trumpet off the end, that was glued on. So I was thinking about doing a video about how to mend the horn, but I can't mend it. Fortunately, it's a relatively cheap item, so I've just ordered a new horn to go in place. So all this time we've actually only had one horn on the car. It doesn't work at all. I inadvertently established that putting the grill back in last time. I'd plugged one in but not the other, and tested the horn to make sure it worked, and I hadn't actually plugged in the working one. So it'll be interesting to hear the Midget with two horns, because I've only ever known her with just the one beep beep. That's it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. Do leave us any comments to help us improve. Anything you want to know about the car, anything you want to see being done. Thank you for those who have commented, and we'll see you next time. Thanks very much.